start. Okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome to our very first session sa GAMPRG1. So, medyo late tayo ng 1 week pero okay naman. Makahabol pa naman tayo sa schedule natin. So, uh, before I start, siguro I'll just have a self-introduction sa mga iba na di pa who don't know who I am. So, let me just ask muna if everyone here speaks Filipino or 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 kung meron bang tao na nahihirapan sa Filipino. None? So everyone can speak Filipino and understand Filipino. Sige. Okay, so self-intro. Um, ayan. So my name is Cesar Paulo Donato, but you can call me Sir Pado. Now, I've graduated in Benil nung 2019. Here also in IEMC in the programming track. Tapos, ayun, Dean's Lister ako. Work ko, I used to work with Doc B sa Senchi Labs sa with their games Turtle Tail and Lutong Bahay. I'm not sure kung alam niyo yun. Then, afterwards, nag-work naman ako kay Sir Ian sa Malu Studios. Small company. Unti lang yun actually, dalawa lang yung games nila. And not that popular. So, ayun. I worked on Hive Mind. Yun yung latest game nila in the Android. Tsaka sa isang project nila. And now, I'm working in Fujitsu. So, hindi na ako game dev but I am IT. Okay? So, I'm working there as a application system engineer and I'm a certified cloud practitioner. Yay. Recently lang yan. So awards, dalawang awards ko that I have gained in my life. So we got best capstone nung before we graduated, which is Ideal, a Unity game. Then we also won a Game of the Year under ng academic track. This was also in 2019 or 2020. So yung game na yun is Piece of Home, which is our capstone 2. So both games, solo programmer lang ako. So si Ideal, 5 kami, pero ako lang yung nagpo-program nun. Then Piece of Home, 3 lang kami. And I am also the only one coding there. Right? Then hobbies and interests. So nagko-piano ako, nagko-tennis ako. I occasionally play Valo at night. So if you see me online ng mga 12 a.m., alam niyo na ako anong ginagawa ko. And during if I'm not playing Valo and I'm not doing anything, I do play some turn-based strategy games such as Lisgea or ano ba? Basta turn-based. And ayun, recently naglalaro rin ako ng Lethal Company. So hopefully you guys know that game. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that game na. Okay? So yun yung hobbies and interests ko. So yeah, that's my self-introduction. May questions ba kayo dito? Do you have any question about me or something that you want to know more about me? Okay lang kung wala. Di ko kayo pinipressure. Okay, sige. Ayan, so what we're gonna talk about today is actually 2 things. Intro to GAMPRG1. Ay, hindi. Feeling ko 3 nga to eh. GAMPRG1, game engine, and I just might start also intro to Unreal para isang bagsakan. Sige, pag-isipan ko. If maabot tayo ng intro to Unreal. Okay? So, start muna tayo with GAMPRG1 orientation. Hindi yan. Ayan. So, GAMPRG1, here you learn about a bit of game engine, but more of, or mostly, Unreal Engine. And you'll be working how to use yung editor niya, how to code in it, which is the blueprint. If you know yung visual coding, ayun. So it's actually a bit easier than just than your normal programming na C++ or C sharp. It's all just connecting nodes. Okay. Then we'll learn about the gameplay framework that you have to use in Unreal Engine. Then we also have event dispatchers, collision handling, and navigations. Lahat to all underneath Unreal and how we use it within the editor. So ano yung kailangan ninyo? One, you'll need Unreal Engine 5.2.x. I think the recent version is 5.2.1. So, ayun, yun yung download nyo. And if you don't know how to download Unreal Engine, it's as simple as downloading Epic Games Launcher. So, search, i-google nyo yun, Epic Games Launcher. Ayan. The-download nyo yan. So, in Epic Games Launcher, there will be categories here that you can choose. Either library, Unreal Engine, or store. Okay, ito yung tatlo. So, if you go to Unreal Engine, and you go to the library, dito, you'll be able to see yung mga projects nyo or yung mga engine version. So, kung magda-download kayo, it's as simple as clicking yung dito. It will show lahat ng versions. In the start, wala to eh. Ito yung mga na-download ko na. So, ito yung mga kita nyo. Hanapin nyo si 5.2.1. So, pipiliin nyo and then install. Okay? So, that's how you get Unreal Engine. It is through the Epic Games Launcher. Right? Next, for your repository client, you can use fork or you can use source tree. They are both fine. It doesn't affect naman how you push sa online repository nyo. It's the same thing. Kung saan kayo nandadalian. Pero in the lab, I'm pretty sure they're using fork. I don't think I'm not sure if they have source tree. Kung naayos nila yun. It's been a while. Okay? So far, questions? Ayun. So, both source tree and fork. Meron sa lab. Then, ayun. So, up to you guys kung anong gusto nyo gamitin. Fork, Unreal. Fork or source tree. So, that's for your Git. Then, for your final grade criteria, it is made out of Project 1, the quiz, and Project 2. So, Project 1, yan yung midterms nyo, which will be endless runner. That is 20% of your total grade. Then, you'll have a quiz, which will happen in Big Sky, hindi na sa Google Form. It will be 10% of your grade. And finally, your final exam, the Project 2, this will be a upgraded version ng Endless Runner, which is just Endless Runner but with guns and zombies. Okay, that makes up 70%. So, yes, if you didn't pass anything sa Project 1 and you didn't even take Quiz 1, you can still barely pass with Project 2 as long as ma-perfect nyo lahat. And we'll talk about yung criteria nito, Project 2. Okay? Now, so midterms grade criteria, it is just project 1. Ito yung kailangan ko lang dito is yung mga milestones nyo, yung requirements. I don't mind about your code quality. I don't mind about the user experience or the UI. Ang important dito is yung inyong requirements, which will be yung milestones. So kahit na mag-R kayo, remember, kahit mag-R kayo, that's only 20%. So wag kayo uh, wag kayong umiyak kapag nag-fail kayo ng midterms. Then, for project rubrics, this only applies for project 2, at yung finals, which is 60% requirements, which is your milestones, code quality, which will be 30% of your grade, and aesthetics, which will be 10%. So code quality, I just have to see na malinis yung code nyo and it is readable. Aesthetics, since you are uh, kayo bahala sa ano eh, sa gagamitin yung mga assets, or if not assets, at least may iba yung mga kulay or something. Okay, that's aesthetics. As long as may visual and audio, madali lang madali lang yung 10% na to. All right, any questions so far? None. Okay, so this is just the code quality, which is just following coding principles and whatnot. How will you submit? So in order for you guys to submit, you have to push in your Git repository. And we'll be using GitLab. And we'll talk about this later on. Okay? Kailangan nyo i-push yung mga changes nyo and yung project nyo sa Git repository. And yeah. Ito, this part naman makita nyo sa makita naman to sa Big Sky. Okay? It's in mouse sa Dropbox. Ayan. If we go to Dropbox, ayan. It is here. Set up repository. And dito rin naman yung how you do it. Okay? Important. GitLab. Sir, pwede GitHub? Hindi. GitLab. Right? Now, submitting a milestones. So, it is per milestone. If you check yung Dropbox nyo, makikita nyo si milestone 1, milestone 2. Ayan. Per milestone yan. That's how I will be grading you guys. And milestones are self-paced. You'll notice they have some due. Pero, okay lang kung nalagpasan niyo yung due. Ang important is masubmit nyo lahat by the last due date. Okay? So, okay lang kung di pa kayo nagsasubmit ng milestone 1 sa 31 as long as you submit it later on. Okay, that's self-paced. Succeeding milestones will only be credited after all the items in the preceding milestones are accomplished. What does that mean? If nag-submit kayo ng milestone 1, 2, 3, pero yung milestone 1 nyo may problema, I cannot grade your milestones 2 and 3. Kahit na submit nyo, di ko mag-grade yan because your milestone 1 is lacking. Right? So I hope you get the idea. All items in the previously checked milestones must be stable and functional. Students are required to defend their code. Ayan. So itong part na to, medyo bago to, but it is hopefully for a good cause. So only 2 milestones can be checked per week. For GitLab, yes, dapat naka-private siya. I think na-specify kayo rin dito sa setup repository. Private. Okay, so balik tayo. Only 2 milestones can be checked per week. Sure, nag-submit kayo ng milestones 1 to 5 on the last day. I can only check your 2 milestones. Okay? So, and the thing is, itong milestones na to, you can only have it checked through appointment, meaning you'll have to consult with me and then you're gonna show your code to me. So, unlike before, yung mga nag-GAMPRG1 or mga nag-GAMPRG1 sa akin noon, before, I would only check your code through here sa Dropbox, tapos magli-leave lang ako ng feedback. Now, it's a bit different. You will have your feedback um, live. So whatever I'm checking, whatever you're showing, I'll be giving feedback na. Okay? So this is a new thing para magganahan kayo gumawa ng milestones instead of like waiting until the last week to finish everything only to find out di nyo pala magawa hanggang milestone 5 to the point na di na kayo nag-submit. So may mga ganun. May mga ganun na instances. Which I understand. Yeah, you're busy with all the other subjects, pero di pwede ganun, right? So, what I'm trying to do right now is uh, 2 milestones per week. So, parang during class hours, not really. Uh, Gagawa ko ng calendar for appointments. Ano kung gumawa ko ng calendar? Not Google. Let me check. Ayun. Mag-post ako ng link about this one. I'll give you guys 30 minutes each for each appointment, starting from 4 hanggang 6. So it's only like 4 appointments per day. But I am hoping na that is enough. And in case na di kayo nag-appointment pero uh, biglang gusto nyo, I guess you can message in sa Discord about it. Hopefully, makita ko yung message nyo sa Discord. Okay? So, may appointments naman dito. Before, I was thinking of 15 minutes. Pero, yung mga GAMPROG 2, they were like saying, Sir, kailangan 30. Hindi enough ang 15. Okay, sige. So, 30 minutes. Okay? So, I'll be posting that rin soon. Where am I? Oh, it's done. Okay, okay? Saan tayo? Nangyari sa... Ay, okay, okay. Here we are. Okay, so 2 milestones per week. Hold on. Naglolo ko siya. Sige, tita na. Right? Then, finally, sa project 2 nyo, when submitting the final build, kailangan you have to reach 50% of the requirement. Tapos, yung build, i-build nyo yung game nyo and you're gonna submit it through Big Sky using Google Drive. I-upload nyo sa Google Drive nyo. Okay. So, yung milestones nyo, yung midterm nyo, you don't have to build it. It says here naman in midterm. Wala namang build yan. Actually, makita nyo yun eh. Walang build yun. Ito lang yung may build sa finals. Okay. So, this one, most probably, I'll also do the same thing. Appointment. Ipapakita niyo yung game niyo sa akin. And then, you'll get your feedback at the same time. Right? Any questions? So I'm hoping this change will be for good, with a positive thing. So no questions, all good. Sige. I also uploaded din naman a syllabus, but it's the same thing. I'll just show you then. It's in content and getting started. Ayan. So yung syllabus, parehas lang yan. Whatever I just said a while ago. Oh, wait. I have to change something. Sige, upload ako ng bago. Pero, halos parehas lang naman. Okay, okay? Now that that's done, I guess we can go to game engine. Save. Save. Baka di tayo mabot ng ano, Unreal. Okay. Ayan. So game engine, this one just very brief lang. You don't have to fully memorize everything, but some parts of it will be in your quiz. Some lang. Probably I think 5 questions or 7 questions lang yun. Okay? So it's just a brief history lang. So history of game engines, early 90s, developers are mostly building their games from ground up. So as game scales up, it becomes close to impossible to develop relatively big games. Bakit? So before, how they coded was it wasn't like C plus or C sharp. Yun, C plus and C sharp are really nice looking code, pero on the base of it, it's not pretty. And during that time, they were doing that from the base. It's complicated and there's so much happening. And the thing is, the bigger it got, the harder it became to develop it because there's so many things already happening. I think it was just one whole file pa nga. Hindi siya like yung sa kung sino man nag-Unity dito, uh, you have like classes and you have different files for it, right? Back then, wala yan. Right. Okay. So most games were only backed up by a handful of developers. So noon, while everything was being built up with programming, there were only a few people who who were creating games. Everyone was just developing Microsoft or Apple or their OS. Right? So Sweeney came along and developed the ZZTOP. So this is a kind of, it's not really a game engine, but isipin nyo a way for them to code na parang mas madali. It's like its own editor. So it's allowed significant user modifications beyond simple map editors. This led to the conceptual framework of current game engines. So Sweeney defined game engine as a game engine with a high productivity. What you see is what you get. Tools pipeline bundled with a programming language aimed at simplifying gameplay logic. So in this case, gumawa siya ng program to create games. Unlike before, they were just creating it all from programming lang. And with that, we use that framework to create our games. So, like ito, isipin nyo, before they would have to code each triangle. If I'm not sure if natuto sa inyo sa GAMPRG, but everything is made out of triangles when it comes to 3D worlds. So imagine they'd have to manually code each point of this to create a 3D object. Right. So Unreal Engine came along. So si Epic, they began to work on their own shooter, si Unreal Tournament. So I'm not sure if you guys heard of that. I think uh, uh, there should be Unreal Tournament pa, pero may number na yun. So in 1998, to compete with other FPS games. So Wolfenstein. Si Wolfenstein 3D yun. Pero It's only looking left and right. Doom was this, I think started with left and right. Wala pa yung up and down. Pero, I mean, they could shoot enemies from up and down, pero basically, they were only looking left and right. Then we have Duke Nukem 3D, and then Quick. So si Epic, they built si Unreal Engine to build the Unreal Tournament game. So isipin nyo, gumawa pa sila ng program to create their own game. So Unreal Engine 1 gave way to artists and designers to join the development workflow. So it provided tools that dramatically improved the team's productivity. So before, sure, they're artists, pero they could not really work the uh, with the development of the game because it was mostly programming lang noon. They would have to learn pa how to create triangles, how to place them in 3D space just to create the 3D model. But si Epic, gumawa sila ng engine so that they can help without having to learn uh, the other parts of programming. Okay, so Unreal Engine was ahead of its time. They were already providing good graphics even just before the revolutionary shift to dedicated graphics cards. So Unreal Engine 2 opened its doors to console development. So before it was all computer. Now that there were consoles like I think PS1 ata yung ano. Is it PS1 or X? No, not Xbox. Well, anyway, basta nagkaroon ng mga consoles na they were able to do cross-platform development, which was close to impossible back then because they were both using different kinds of operating systems and coding languages. But with Unreal Engine, it tried to pave way to cross-platform. So now, Unreal Engine is the most common and powerful engine to develop popular or AAA titles. So, lahat ng mga magagandang games na nakita nyo, there's high chance na it is a Unreal Engine game. When I mean maganda, I mean realistic and great lighting, whatnot. Ayun. In most cases, the Unreal Engine yon. So, why use an engine? So, using an engine improves yung workflow between different departments, such as yung programmers, artists, and designers. So, this is a requirement. Bakit? Before, they would have to, well, I'm not sure if you guys worked with a team na, but usually, everything the artist and designer wants, the programmer will have to do it. Now, with the game engine, artists and designers can still work in the development without having to mess with the programmer. So modules like physics, rendering, scripting, sounds, etc. are already bundled in the engine. You don't have to code it anymore. So imagine that. Mga physics na ganun. Imagine you have to create pa a sophisticated physics engine. But in this case, with the game engine, it has its own and you can use it for your own game. Now, lots of boilerplate code is already handled by the engine. So programmers focus more on the actual gameplay. Meaning you don't have to learn that much with yung mga sophisticated or complicated na techniques or mechanics or how to implement it sa game. Most of the time, may function na hinahandle ni Unreal or in an engine. Kahit sa Unity, meron siyang ganun. So, they have that. So, another thing is it's cross-platform. So, most games today are cross-platform. Without this, you have to recode everything for every additional platform. So, buti hindi nyo na you guys haven't tried yung iOS prog last time. During my time. Pero kasi what happened was it's not using Unity. what he had to use was Xcode, which is a it's not so fun. It's not so fun programming language. Pero kasi that's what Apple is using when they create their apps. Xcode. Xcode? I think it's Xcode. Yeah. So with Unreal with game engines, you don't have to learn that anymore. You can use the same programming language to use for different platforms. So it might be slower than coding it from ground out up, but it's impractical to sacrifice productivity for performance. So why would you even create a game from ground up? There are times na baka you want a certain way the things are rendered, right? What if you wanted a really good looking mirror, pero like si Unreal they do have it, pero it's not that it's not as great as like an actual like if you think about mirror. There's a way to code that, but you'd have to code it from the ground up. But then again, impractical siya because you will have to spend so much time not just for creating it but yung performance nyo din. So big games take years to develop even with an engine. Now, the popular question is what is why Unreal versus Unity? So all you've heard about si Unreal being really great and all. So what about Unity? So as a game development evolved, it became more difficult for independent developers who didn't have resources to license game development technology. So I believe si Unreal Engine, they take a part of yung sales nyo. Ano kung ganun yun eh. So in 2002, Unity started as a small group of developers who want to build their own game. So as they were developing the game, they built the tools to streamline the workflow. And they realized why not be a company that develops these tools and shifted their focus on game engine development instead. So by 2005, they released the engine along with commercial game Goo Ball to prove its usability. So the engine was only compatible to Mac OS X back then. So itong small group na to, imagine they wanted to make their game but they wanted to make the tools first. And as they were creating it, they slowly realized na baka pwede man gumawa ng game engine na lang. And here they are. With Unity, they paved its way for low budget developers to join the market. So with the rise of mobile game development, Unity rose to fame, and today it's the best engine to use for smaller games, specifically mobile games. So hopefully you know why Unity was so great in the mobile mobile games. But we'll talk about it also later on. So by 2015, with their version 5.0, Unity started to up their game when it comes to graphics. So you see, ito yung Unity noon. It was back in the Mac. And you see medyo it's not that great looking, but it looks like it kind of looks like the current Unity, right? And then later on, mas gumanda nga siya. It is getting to what it looks like now. So, pros and cons. When using Unreal Engine, ang pro nun is it's proven since 1999. Meaning, lahat ng games nila, mga AAA games, usually Unreal Engine yun. So, if you use Unreal Engine, you know it's a good looking game. Dapat. So, it is an excellent art and designer tools. They have a good workflow with when it comes to developing games. Tapos better graphics rin siya. They imagine no pa they've been creating FPS games noon. They were trying to make it really good looking, and that's why they have more experience in it. Next, they have also visual scripting. So yung mga first time dito, uh, what it looks like. I'll just show you. I'll show you guys. Blueprint. Blueprint. Real engine. So it looks like this. This is your visual scripting. Instead of yung traditional yung code from top to down, this one, you have a whole space to code. And so imagine yung may mga lines niyan. So that is node-based and all this visual scripting, right? Next, visual scripting is compatible with C++ coding. So you won't be coding in C++ now, but imagine you're able to use visual scripting with C++ coding. Next, fast prototyping. With visual scripting, it is very quick to create mechanics. Kasi halos lahat ng mga functions in visual scripting, sa blueprint, yung mga complicated na yun, they have it shortcut in visual scripting. So imagine like AI move to, or like you want to make the AI move to a certain place. You have one whole function just for it, and you just call it. So mabilis mag-prototype sa Unreal Engine. So next, better optimization. So again, this game is made for FPS. So imagine their pooling, what do you call that? Object pooling. And it's optimized, meaning they're able to spawn, quote unquote, spawn bullets at a fast rate without slowing down your computer. Finally, it's open source. So all the functions that you're looking for, you can quickly see it doon sa project mismo. So if you want to check out lahat ng mga functions ng collider or ng mesh static mesh render, ayun, you'll be able to see it. Cons, it's C++, meaning lots of boilerplate code. Boilerplate meaning it's like repeating yung mga code mo, yung kailangan gawin. But you have to, kailangan, para gumana siya sa Unreal. Next, engine tools seem to favor specific genres. So, you'll notice there's no Unreal Engine na 2D yung game nila. Right? I've seen a capstone back noon. I've seen a capstone where they created a 2D game using Unreal Engine. It didn't really look nice, but good job for them to creating a 2D game in a 3D game engine. But yeah, it wasn't that nice looking. Next, learning curve is steep at start. So sure, pwede ka mag-search whatever, pero may learning curve yun eh. And it might be too complicated. You'll be overwhelmed by all the functions that are available for you to use in Blueprint. Kaya medyo steep. But the moment you get through that part, the very first part, medyo smooth sailing naman later on. Next, less plugins and community support. So if you try to search online, ano yung mga, like how to do stuff, very few, if not very few, very complicated naman ang ang mga solutions na yun ang sinasabi ng community. Right? So, not that much. Unlike sorry, did I say Unity? Unreal. Okay. Unlike sa Unity, ang daming support nun. Ang daming mga mga their site mismo, you can even check what functions do and all. Sa Unreal Engine hindi. If you try to search, here, I'll just give you a example. Unreal Engine 5 static mesh compiler. Sorry, static mesh component. This is what it looks like. This is their document. So they all have this, pero wala silang like example how to use it. May remarks lang. But it's not like Unity. If you go to Unity static mesh component or manual mesh component, they actually show pictures pa nga. And it looks nicer, right? And then you can even check on the other parts of this. And they'll show it'll give you um more descriptions. You can even search like a function with Unity and it'll give a example. Unlike si Unreal, wala talaga. Ito, get static light info. Ito lang, syntax. It won't show you how to use it. Okay? So that's what it means na walang masyadong support. And finally, too heavy for mobile games. Unreal Engine uses so much processing power that some mobile phones are not able to run their games. If it runs, it's running in a very low setting and very low frames per second. Or if that's not happening, umiinit yung phone nila when they play it. While Unity, ang pro nila is it has the best cross-platform integration. So if you check Unity, they have so many choices from Android to Apple to I think meron pa nga PlayStation um, integration. I think if I recall noon. Ayun. So marami kayong choices for that. Not even that. You even have Linux. If I remember, there's Linux pa nga eh. See Unreal. I don't think there's Linux for Unreal. But anyway, so ayun. Best cross-platform integration. Next, you can make almost any game in Unity. So you're not constricted with just 3D, but even 2D games. So Unity 3D is more flexible since it's built from nothing, which means uh, you can do anything with the 3D in Unity. So Unreal kasi, since it was for FPS games, yung 3D nila is may mga built-in functions that is used for FPS. Unlike here in Unity, it can be anything. So coding is more productive since it's in C sharp. So it might sound slower, but it's converted to C++ code through IL2 CPP. What does that mean? C sharp. Wait lang. It might sound slower. This is converted to C++ code. Right. So C sharp kasi it looks nicer. It's even easier to code in C++. Pero it's still fast. It's still fast coding with C sharp. Next, engine structure is a lot easier to learn. Um, yeah, I think it explains itself. Next, large community support. As you saw a while ago, ayan, maraming silang mga descriptions here. It even tells you how to do stuff. Next, there's also lots of plugins. So in here, you can even download some water mechanics or water rendering. Ayun, meron silang ganun. Cons is it is relatively young compared to Unreal. If you saw it, this one is 2005. So unlike Unreal, they have a head start, and ever since then they've been creating good-looking games. So it is slightly behind in terms of graphics, and also slower in rendering. Next, it is closed source. So you can't actually see kung ano yung code nila, what they did to make some parts of these functions run. You can't see it, unlike the Unreal. Next, prefabs are not as flexible compared to Unreal. Uh, Nothing is not a choice for AAA games. So since AAA games wanted to be good looking and wanted to be smooth, Usually, Unity is not chosen. Next, no native visual scripting. You'll be coding most of the time. So, yung mga developers, kasi in Unreal, yung mga not developers. What do you call this? Ang tawag sila? Oh my god, sorry. Yung mga right, designers. Sorry. Yung mga designers, they are able to code in Unreal because of the visual scripting. Since visual scripting already holds so many functions that you can use. They just have to learn a bit and they're able to prototype now. Unlike here in Unity it's really coding. It's all C sharp. So uh, designers are not able to help or in they're not able to prototype in Unity unless they know how to code. So finally, workflow in a team is worse than Unreal. Bakit? Uh, ayun nga. The designers, they don't know how to code. So we move prototyping. Next, artists. Sometimes artists don't even want to touch Unity for some reason. I've seen people do that. Uh, what happens is they would just tell the programmers to place their assets in the level. Okay, so that's cons for Unity. So I think online meron ganito, but I think. So si Unity, they are trying to up their game for graphics, pero si Unreal Engine, yeah, they're still better. Like imagine, like yung mga, you can kind of feel or see the texture of the floor. Unlike si Unity. Unity medyo blurred pa. Alam ko recently they've upped it pa rin, their graphics. But it's still not comparable to Unreal Engines. So question is, which is better? If you're making a low, medium budget mobile game, definitely you should use Unity. So Unreal is very iffy on mobile games. So yun nga, masyadong malakas si Unreal sa mobile. Masyadong malakas yung kanilang paggamit ng processing power and everything. Kaya if you want a low budget mobile game, go ahead, use Unity. If you're making a AAA game, use Unreal Engine. So for bigger teams with designers and artists, Unreal Engine pa rin is better. If you're a small team, pwede pa si Unity. Yung tipong tatlo lang kayo, okay lang. You can go ahead and use Unity. Si Unreal Engine may spoon feed you because of its visual scripting. So this one is because, like I said, Blueprint, they have so many things that they've done that that can happen in just one function. Okay, so medyo spoon feed yung Blueprint. So I would not recommend this for newbie programmers. So what does this mean? Kung bago pa kayo sa programming, I wouldn't recommend visual scripting. Mas better pa rin na you will start programming, the traditional programming like in C sharp. Okay, finally, in the end, there is no best engine, only best at. So si Unreal is best at 3D games. Si Unity is best at 2D games, mobile games, small games. Ayun, si Unity yun. So use the right tool or the tool you're comfortable with. Ayun, yun lang. Yun lang naman sa game engine. So you don't have to memorize again. You don't have to memorize this. You can just read through it before your exam. Pero onti lang naman ay exam tuloy. Yung quiz, which will happen around after midterms pa. But yeah, onti lang naman yung questions nun. And the questions is not that hard, but it's kind of specific. Okay. Any questions? None? Okay. Yeah, 7:30. I think that's good enough. Siguro next time na lang for Unity. Unity. Why do I keep saying Unity? Unreal. So, okay. Next week. Next week, I think it's best na mag face-to-face tayo next week. Yeah. Bakit? Um, sure, I can give you a run through how to use Unreal Engine through online, pero iba pa rin when you are able to use it while I discuss about it. Hanggang 9? Tatry natin hanggang 8. Tatry natin hanggang 8. Okay. Ang mangyayari is I will probably kind of speed run si saan yan? S1, 2. Itong intro. It's a short intro, pero it's about talking. Yeah. I'm gonna talk to this siguro for like 30 minutes or so next week. Tapos, lahat nun is you guys are gonna use Unreal Engine in the computers there. Okay? Any other questions? So, I will remind naman you guys day before na may face-to-face tayo. I think mangyayari is hold on, let me just double check my plan. Uh-huh. Sige. I think ang mangyayari is mag face-to-face tayo sa 23 and 30. So 23, I'll be discussing about the intro to Unreal and the demo kayo. The demo ako ng Unreal. Tapos gagawa kayo ng Unreal stuff. How to use it. 30, discuss more with Unreal a bit deeper na about Unreal. After that, that tayo is online. Mostly gagawa lang kayo project making. Unless may gusto kayong pag-usapan, then we can talk about it on these days. So our final day of submission is 21. February 21. That is 1 month. Yeah, kaya niyan. You can really you can do this in one week or two at most. All right. So is there any other questions? Concerns? Clarification? None. Okay. So kung meron kayong concerns or you need something to clarify, feel free to message me or message sa group. Alright. So I hope you guys will enjoy this terms GAMPRG1. Hopefully yung mga nagre-repeat let's do better with the changes of submission. Hopefully we can get through this. All right. So that's it for today. You guys can enjoy your evening and ingat kayo.